Excuse me, do you mind?
Hello. Can you share that with GDPR?
No.
It's GDPR.
Well, it's fine, I'll get it off our system then.
I'm just wondering, it's just a question, that's all.
Well, how do we know it's safe then?
Because it was fitted by an electrician.
Well, there you go. Well, who's this electrician then?
What's it got to do with you?
Well, this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom.
It was fitted by a qualified electrician, and nobody gets a certificate to have a meter fitted. So what you're coming up with is fiction.
Is there another resource heading down here?
What they've done, they've sent in people that look like the SAS. Sorry, you just look like the SAS there. Can I ask you why you got your face covered?
It's just the nature of the work we do, so sometimes we need to conceal our identity.
Police are breaking in.
They're actually breaking in.
Police are breaking in.
I thought you said you weren't going to be assisting in it.
Whose car is this?
I don't know. Probably
Someone's gone to funeral.
DVLAs.
I don't care. I'm not speaking to you.
I'm a person of the public asking you a question. Are you refusing to answer my question?
Yes, I am. I'm not speaking to you. Just arguing with me.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you a question. What is a proper warrant from the courts? What is a proper warrant from the courts?
So I'm just going to highlight the fact that we've got a gun on scene. And the fact that we've got a gun on scene is quite alarming, really, for a civil matter.
Armed police do not have anything in your hand when they open this door.
Even the neighbours are saying he's just had a heart attack recently.
You've got no right to be in that address.
And you're not impartial.
Right.
Well, yes, I am.
I've heard your conduct. You're not impartial. Unfortunately, that's not professional.
The corporate crown, the corporation. You did not work for the crown.
And I'm sorry it's come to this, because this is not your job. This is a civil matter. Today is the 21st of October 2022. I don't know what's happening up at the top, but the police have arrived. There's 2 police vehicles. And this looks like the electricity man. Hiya, what's going on?
I don't know, mate.
Let's just have a quick look what's going on. Obviously people are already here. The video recording.
Excuse me, do you mind?
Hello.
It's a private conversation, just like we didn't interrupt your friend.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you carry on. Yeah. Secret meeting?
Yeah.
A private conversation?
Assumption, presumption, warrant. Nice word, assumption and warrant. Presumption.
So they're having a private conversation in a public space?
Appears like it.
Thank you.
Private in a public space.
Press on it, it gets gone.
Innocent faces.
So we've got another police vehicle arriving. 3 police vehicles.
Just so I know that the police are on site.
More police and people protecting us.
I'm just going to have a conversation with officers. Can you just...
Yeah, you can. That's
Wait,
fine. Yeah, you
wait
can.
then.
You can do. It's fine.
What's the chap's name on there? Do you know what it's called?
Yeah, it's...
Can you share that with GDPR?
No.
It's GDPR.
Well, it's fine, I'll get it off our system then.
I'm just wondering. It's just a question. That's all.
Are you okay?
Bill.
Hello. Yeah. Can you just tell me why there's 3 police cars arrived?
I've just turned up now, so
Oh, right.
once I found out, then I'll let you know.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speak to about all this because there's no really need for any of this.
Well, the fact is, they're not coming in.
Right, so
there's no need for you to be here. End
But
of
they say that
story.
you've tampered with the electricity though, you've put another meter.
No.
Right, well that's what the energy company
No,
is saying.
I've had an electric meter fitted professionally, right?
Right, and does the energy
And he's
company...
accepted the old meter. That's end of story.
Who
I
has?
broke the contract. In with beard, he's just accepted the old meter.
Yeah, he's taking
right?
it off and he's taking it off.
Now, I broke, if you look in
Well,
that
if you've got a certificate then
if
saying
you look in that bag,
Yeah.
there's a letter there that I sent to the CEO of SSE 12
Yeah.
months ago, breaking the contract.
Right.
And he's just thrown
If
it
you-
back over here, he's littered with it.
If you've got a certificate then to say that that's been installed by an
Who do
electrician,
you get certificate
well,
from?
through whoever's installed
Does he
it,
give
electrician-
certificates?
From an electrician.
Does he
then.
give certificates?
No,
You don't get nobody to give certificates to fit a meter
Well, how do we know it's safe then?
because it was fitted by an electrician.
Well, there you go. They should. Well, who's this electrician then?
What's he got to do with you?
Well, this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom.
It
If
was
it's
fitted
safe,
by
if it's-
it was fitted by a qualified electrician, and nobody
Right.
gets a certificate to have a meter fitted. So what you're coming up with is fiction.
I'm not. I don't
Yes,
know.
you are.
Listen, I'm not a
certificate.
qualified electrician. I'm just asking how do we know that that's been fitted
Right,
correctly?
so go and ask him. If he comes in and checks it, will he give me a certificate to say it's safe?
Fitted the meter, get what I mean?
To be honest, I don't really understand what all this fuss is for. I don't
it's on the
Because I don't want,
let
he
him
represents a company that's got
They don't
nothing
get
to do with me
certificates,
anymore.
but they
Can
do
you ask
get-
him to shut up, because I can't hear him? Right. I broke contract with SSE 12 months ago and asked them to come and collect the meter.
Right.
Right? Now they're here saying they're going to break in and they've got a warrant to come in whether I'm in or not, whether I'm let them in or not. And they haven't got a warrant. What they've got is an electronic image of a warrant. You can put Mickey Mouse on an electronic image, don't you say it's Mickey Mouse?
Right.
A warrant is a piece of paper with an embossed stamp and a wet ink signature from a magistrate. Right? He hasn't got one. So he's not coming in.
Right. Okay. All right. If he was to turn up with that, then are you going to let him in there?
What's the odds on him turning up with that? Right?
Get one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's zilch, innit?
You are.
It's zilch. He's not going to get one.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, go on then. If they can go get one, he'll let him in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right.
There's your deal.
So
Thank you
There's
very much
your
for the
deal.
offer.
Yeah.
We'll take
They were
it. Can't
paying for
accept
one, but
it.
the-
Well
these-
done.
these
Yeah.
rubber stamp
Engage.
ones
She's
have
just
been
put
on
the
for
contract
about
together.
So
I-
if he turns up,
I was just asking a question.
with a warrant, a paper warrant with a proper embossed stamp
They haven't done
from
that
a
for about
court
30 years.
and a wet ink signature.
Right. So I've just been told they've not done that for about 30 years.
No, that's not
Well,
true.
that's it then. It's not going to happen.
They haven't.
They haven't.
Right.
They've not been doing things quite correct for 30 years. That's why.
You've not been told your job properly.
Been living in a fraudulent
Look,
system.
I don't know. And
Welcome
I
to the
can't
Great
know about
Awakening.
everything.
No,
I
no,
can't know about
understand that.
everything,
I
can I? I don't
understand
know
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
every single point of the law. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
going to.
understand
No one in no one is going to know that. All right.
No.
I've been called here to assist my colleagues because there was a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Right.
But for what? For what? Why have you been
And
called?
these chaps here are here to execute a warrant. So we're here
they're
as a
not allowed
breach
to
of the
break
peace,
in.
okay?
But
So don't
far,
say that I
these
don't
two-
know my job because I'm here to
No,
defend the breach of the peace,
no.
okay?
This lady here and that lady over there, right, was trying to back these up breaking in.
No, we were preventing
Now
the
what
breach
they're
of the peace
actually
while they
doing
did their work.
is breaking an entry. Because they haven't got an official warrant, I've refused entry, they've undone a gate, so they've come through what was a locked gate. A locked gate implies no right of entry, and they've taken that to bits and come through it. So now, where he is trespassing.
Not allowed to break the law
Why
to
are you
enforce the
walking
law.
away from me while I'm talking?
Because he's got the executioner ready. Look.
So this is to do with an electricity controversial at the moment. And what they've done, they've sent in people that look like the SAS. Sorry, you just look like the SAS there. Can I ask you why you got your face covered?
It's just the nature of the work we do, so sometimes we need to conceal our identity of the roles in the firearms unit. So if our face goes all over social media, that might jeopardise us on future operations. It's the only reason.
Well, that's a reasonable explanation.
I'm not trying to intimidate anyone, it's just purely for my safety and so we can do work on the unit. All right.
You look like Spider-Man in black.
Yeah. It's warm, trust me, I'd rather not have it on. We'll get some kit.
Yeah, but are you allowed to lay your hands on it?
Yes.
If we if we don't breach the peace, if we're not breaching the peace, but how we're standing still breaching the peace. So standing still is not breaching the peace.
Well, how do I know?
I was standing still here and both of them laid hands on me.
Yeah, he's just laid his hands on me to get by.
Is this to prevent something from
Just stand my own.
When I had my hands in my pocket, they both of them laid hands on me.
What are you doing?
Is that a new level of policing that we have now?
What I'm saying to you is, please,
I will not lay my hands upon you.
because they have a job that they need to do. They do have a job that they need to do. So essentially, you could be obstructing my officers from carrying out their duties. So can I just ask if you could give them some space to maybe to get across the street?
Can I just ask that you don't assist these in an illegal act?
Just
You can ask me that,
We're
but
not-
unfortunately
we're
I've got a
not
job that I
going.
need to do as well, haven't
So
I?
you're going to assist these?
we are not
So
going to breach
it's
the
your
peace.
job here
I'm not
to...
saying that you're going to breach the
We're
peace.
not
I'm
going to.
saying my officers have got a job that they need to do.
Yes, but that
Mr.
doesn't
Hare.
mean that if we're stood here, how is that breaching the peace?
I'm not saying you're breaching the peace. I'm saying, can you allow them some distance so that they can carry
Okay,
out
so
what
that's a
they're doing?
request.
Pardon?
I am asking you,
Okay,
is that
so-
something that you are able to
Okay,
do
so
to
a
allow them
request
some space?
can be the granted or
but hang
denied.
on, hang
Of
on.
course it can. I'm not being
Hang on.
unreasonable by asking, am
He
I?
claims he's got a warrant title.
Right, well then
If you
potentially...
come in now,
I'm going to keep my hands in my pockets. I'm not going to breach the
If
peace.
they've got a job,
you have no right
they have a job that they
You have
do.
They can't break the law to enforce the law.
What law are they breaking?
If they're going to break and enter, that's a criminal offence. As police, you can't break the law to enforce the law.
No, we're not handing the phone to you. There's your options. That's how you can see it.
What's that?
He's got it on a phone. He's not going to pass you the phone. Come down and open the door. You can see it. We're coming in either way.
No, you think I'm a fool. I'm not going to open the door to him. I'm not going to open the door to him.
Agreed. We need to get a bit of a distance.
this is
So
it.
can we allow for you guys to
This is tyranny by the police.
Is this
This is tyranny by the police. Now you understand why the people do not respect
I'm
you.
not going to breach the peace.
No, but are you going to potentially obstruct my officers
No,
from
I'm
carrying
not
out
going
their
to. I'm not going to do anything but stand here and be quiet.
Well then,
Well, relatively quiet.
I'm not. I've not said otherwise.
No.
I've not said otherwise, have I? There we go then. And I appreciate that you have something that you need to do, but you've got to appreciate that we have something that we need to do as well.
Yeah, within reason, yeah. As long as you don't help me.
I mean, you are nice.
Safety is a landlord's job. I'm taking my letterbox off my door after watching this. Safety is a landlord's I'm actually taking my letterbox off my door after watching this.
Well, they do the police do actually sell drugs in people's houses. I've seen it. Implicate you through your letterbox.
outrageous for me. Once you start it,
The same comes to you.
That's on the line.
Same comes to you.
If we're enforcing, I appreciate it.
it's us first and then it's you after.
What do you mean?
You're going to go through the same thing where you won't get full bills.
There's a saying, when they came for the blacks and nobody did anything, then when they came for the Jews, nobody did anything, and then when they come, when they come for us, there's not going to be enough of us left to do anything about it. It's a saying, it's nothing racial.
Okay, I've never heard it before, so
I believe there's only
appreciate
one
that.
race, and that's the 100 metres race, or 500 metres race. Everything else is
Marathon.
either a man or a woman.
Got the marathon.
Goodness me. Soon they start to shoot people on the streets. It comes times when they start to shoot. Takes a gun and shoot like animals. If you not do what, if you not obey what they tell you.
So it's only a one-way system.
Yeah, they are system criminals
Do
now.
not respect
Police, you can't trust police.
They're only here for themselves, for the corporates.
For the corporations.
The corporation.
The bill for you now.
Paid by our tax.
It's naturally going to happen.
Oh.
Shaking.
Bit shivery, yeah.
With the police in the background. I think it's frightened of the police.
You understand what I'm saying? To get too close to me. I appreciate you. Well, it's not nice to be there, not really. This is legal.
No breach of the peace.
Something that's going to do that door is going to come back on you and your family. I'm not threatening you, I'm telling you what you're supposed to do. It's not a threat. Not a threat. That's how we live. We live by universal law.
We don't have anybody else that... Because they're the only officers that are trained on the district to be able to force entry. It's got nothing to do with rules or anything like that. So why do they bring it up? Because they have to have...
There's a warrant, magistrate court warrant, which I've viewed myself. Has your address, subsections in the law. Magistrate that says that they have power of entry to this flat. And everyone you've got some grievances, but they're not fine. Right, and I'm not here to tell you whether you're right or wrong. The issue is,
the police is usually be there to serve the people,
I'm working for the
not
king.
the corporation.
We're not working for the corporation.
We wish King because even when they did his oath they didn't say King Charles III, they just said King Charles. So you don't even know what king you're working for.
He's not being... He's not...
Even, well, he's not even been sworn in, so how can you be working for the king? Who are you working for? Who are you working for? You're working for a company. You're not even under your oath today, are you?
I'm not going to do
Because if you were under your oath, you'd protect the public, not the corporation. Because you shouldn't be paying for gas and electric.
Someone going to let us in?
want the door destroyed, do you?
The gas and electric is free by God's law.
Do you pay for yours?
You got some TNT?
Not sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Digital
So the police job to break into people's houses. So we can see the police that is breaking into the house. It's actually the police that is breaking in.
What are you going to do when it's a 90-year-old that can't afford their bills because their pension won't go through? You're going to break into their house as well?
Police are breaking. The police are breaking. The police are breaking.
Yeah, the police are breaking in.
They're actually breaking
Yeah, the
in.
police are breaking in.
I thought you said you weren't going to be assisting in it.
Whose car is this?
I don't know. Probably somebody.
Someone's gone to a funeral.
DVLAs.
Yeah, DVLAs.
Well
done. Yes, that is correct.
It's fine if it's DVLA. They're
When I open this door,
No,
you're
what
trying
it
to stop
means
me,
is
you're
that
trying to assault
the
me.
process that you go through to register the car,
Yeah?
it ends up being...
If you push this door against me and try and assault me, we can use reasonable force and you're going to be arrested.
He can also use reasonable force to protect his property.
I
thought you said you weren't going to help them.
No, it's lawful.
Actually, a policeman
Have you noticed they put women
is attempting to break in.
Police officer breaking into
Manipulation. Manipulation. I'm glad you're filming all of this. Send it to the papers, sweetheart, because they're breaking the law right now.
Charlie, Sierra 3 and Is there another resource heading down here?
I think you may have been 3 Mark and 3 Juliet for children of Romania.
Just while we're waiting, could I just take your numbers for reference? 15605. Sorry, yours isn't on show. Could you just repeat?
It isn't because I haven't been issued epaulets with mine. 15964.
Thank you. And yourself?
15192.
Thank you.
Yeah, one day, I wish one day comes when we'll be sitting in the same bench. One day. We have these pictures and photos.
This will be playing on your minds.
Yeah, they've been judged.
Did I or did I not do the right thing?
I open this door, do not have anything in your hand. Armed police, do not have anything in your hand when you open this door.
Like a wartime against one man. Special sport. Who's going to pay for this? Are they paid?
Maybe they'll give us a donation.
Donation. From our money, from our...
When you know the penny drops, so what's going on?
You want to throw one day with just to sell it with money.
So they've sent armed police?
Yeah, it's a civil matter.
Armed police to civil matter.
He's not got
Assume that the
police. Seems like it's no more job and nothing else to do. Yeah. They don't have to breaking people's houses.
Gas smell or anything? No, exactly. It's been no complaints made.
Electric is not that.
Even the neighbours are saying that they've not made a complaint. Surely, at least you've got to see what's going on here.
So there's quite a lot of witnesses here to witness what's happening today. If a warrant of entry is presented at your door which has not been signed by a Justice of the Peace, it will be deemed an unsigned warrant of entry. According to the Rights of Entry, Gas and Electricity Boards Act 1954, the warrant must have been lawfully obtained by the applicant by swearing an oath in writing to the Justice of the Peace, who should then become satisfied that the warrant of entry is necessary. It must then be sanctioned by the Justice of the Peace or by a clerk clearly showing the name for the Justice of the Peace. If no Justice of the Peace seen the sworn oath in writing before acting on the sworn oath provided by the applicant, then questions need to be asked if the alleged warrant of entry is both legal and lawful or not. Section 6 of the Forgery Act 1913 makes reference to uttering. This is deemed the deliverance of the offering of a forged document. One or more persons may be found guilty of fraud by false representation of an alleged warrant of entry by both the Forgery Act 1913 and the Fraud Act 2006. Fraud. A person is guilty of fraud if he is in breach of any of the sections listed in subsection 2, which provide for different ways of committing the offence. Section 2 reads: A. Fraud by false representation, or B. Fraud by failing to disclose information, and C. Fraud by abuse of position. Now, in this situation, if this warrant is illegal, did the actual seeker employee on the sworn oath swear that the electricity to the property is unsafe or may be unsafe? And if that was the case, why did they wait over 12 months to apply for this warrant of entry? That's a bit odd. There may be other mitigating circumstances, but at this time there was no copy of that given to the occupier. Fraud by abuse of position? Well, that police officer, he better pray that that alleged warrant is a legally, lawfully obtained warrant of entry. So, a person who is found guilty of fraud is liable on summary conviction to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 12 months, or to a fine not exceeding the statutory maximum, or both. Securing a warrant of entry under the Rights of Entry, Gas and Electricity Boards Act 1954, a Justice for the Peace or judge must have looked over the sworn oath before testifying themselves that the grant of a warrant of entry is vital. If there was no evidence to support a risk to life or property, this raises high suspicions for how an alleged warrant of entry was obtained. SSE was informed that the meter exchange was about to take place over 12 months ago, and does cast shadows of doubt whether or not the warrant of entry was applied for and or granted legally in the first place. Rights of Entry, Gas and Electricity Boards Act 1954, Section 2. Warrant to authorise entry, subsection 1. 1 states, where it is shown to the satisfaction of a Justice of the Peace on sworn information in writing, to obtain a warrant of entry, a sworn statement in writing by the applicant must be made to a Justice of the Peace. Interpretation at Section 3, subsection 3. If an applicant has reasonable cause to believe that circumstances exist which are likely to endanger life or property, and that immediate entry to the premises is necessary to verify the existence of those circumstances, or to ascertain their cause or to effect a remedy. This in itself raises a question. If the warrant of entry was obtained for safety concerns, then why did it take over 12 months for them to come and perform a safety check? The information I am contemplating over in this video is based on my own free-thinking mind and what was mainly shown in this video. None of this is legal advice. On reflection, Seeker turned up with the police for the allegation of an unsafe meter installation. It later transpired that a rogue meter had been installed, but more about that in a minute. Under government legislation, namely Rights of Entry Gas and Electricity Boards Act 1954, a right of entry can be granted for safety concerns under Section 2 subsection 1, but the Justice of the Peace should only issue a warrant under his hand to enter the premises by force if satisfied by the sworn information from the applicant, which according to legislation must be done in writing to the Justice for the Peace. It looks like they're going to break the law to enforce a civil action.
Are there any crimes being committed anywhere? Huh? Look at all these just There's probably people being mobbed and hurdled.
They're committing a crime. As far as I know, it's the landlord's job to do electric safety.
Well, yeah.
Random company.
Even the neighbours are saying he's just had a heart attack recently. Yes. And she just had a I can't believe it.
You don't even believe it.
I think they forgot their oaths.
You can name it video, you have to listen to stop breaching the peace.
Excuse me, sir. Under GDPR, where can I get a copy of your footage? Seeker representative. Where can I get a copy of the footage from?
Well, you're doing enough of your recordings.
I need a copy of that one from that angle. Because under GDPR, I'm entitled to it as well.
You're not actually the customer though, are you?
Well, he's recording me outside. So I'm entitled to that.
Just like you're doing.
He's working at the moment.
Can he get it afterwards then, please?
So where can I get it from?
I'm telling you no.
Sorry?
I'm telling you no.
So you're from Seeker?
So you're not giving us information.
Who's your...
Money for yourself, aren't you? You're doing enough of your own.
I've got a legal question for you. Who's your data controller? Sir, who's your data controller? I need to contact them for a copy of the footage.
They don't know.
Just stop a second. Countersign sounds like the platform. The data control.
Can you just tell me who your data controller is as well, please?
The Chief Constable.
The Chief Constable. See, it's not that hard. Who's yours?
Chief Constable who?
Hey?
Chief Constable who?
Swan.
Chief Constable Swan.
Look at the situation at the moment. Why don't we just let us inspect where the electric meter was, and that's it. We're just going. We're going to inspect the electric meter. We've been asked by the supplier that if there is another meter. Right, okay. But you've obviously got electricity though, haven't you? Right, you've got what I'm saying is, let me. You've got electricity, haven't you? You've got electricity at the moment. Right, okay. So what the supplier is saying, whether you dispute it or not, which you can take it and dispute it even with the ombudsman. But what they're saying is that we're to take any equipment away so there's no electricity left in your property.
And the next thing they're doing is sort the door in half.
Right. My only William, my only problem is, right, the next thing is we're going to saw your door. The next thing that's going to happen is they're going to saw your door open. They're going to put a chainsaw through your door. So why not just let us to stop all this? Come in, inspect the meter. We're not taking goods, we're not taking money, we're not doing anything else. We're not bailiffs. We just want to inspect the meter. Yeah. If there's an illegal meter on there, we can't take it because it's not our meter. But what we can do is take all the cables away so there's no supply. That's all we want to do. As in, there'll be no electricity coming into your flat. No, we can do that from inside. If you then tend to want to tamper it and wire it back up again, that's your decision, that's another safety issue. But right now, all we want to do, without chopping your door and doing all this, is just get to where the meter is, take your meter off, take our cables away, and we're gone. That's it. Didn't need to get this far. But because you looked
And the fact that we've got a gun on scene is quite alarming, really, for a civil matter. So, an update as it stands now. It looks like they want to go into the property and take away the cables that run up to the property.
It's up to you, but for us,
that's all they want to do today. Take away the cables from inside the property.
The other police officer wants to speak to you.
So at the minute they're in negotiations.
I'll be back in a minute, mate. It's just talking to someone.
Okay, I'm just resetting the GoPro again. So, it's my understanding you just want to take the cables away and check if it's safe, is that correct?
Police officers and not constables.
They don't comprehend that they're two entities at the same time.
Your police constable.
Two entities.
Right.
Police and constable. Constables is what they used to be. They used to be. There was no police. They were brought over by the French.
So the oath of attestation was to constable and not police?
Correct. The original word was constable. And then they brought in and usurped the French system and called everybody a police officer.
Like a security officer?
Correct. Like a CEO. Chief Executive Officer.
They've got the Rothschilds black and white. You don't work for the Crown, you work for the Rothschilds. And it's all over your uniform, you don't realise it. And you're telling me you know what you're doing.
Say again, sorry. Right, okay, would you like an officer to come in with you?
Universal law.
Right, so just me and my colleague is going to do the electric. That's it. Just me and my electrician. Yeah? No, I'm not the electrician. I'm in charge of the whole operation we do with forecast, so I'm just the lead on the warrant officer. So what we'll do is, Martin, my guy, will come in with me and we'll just do the
Imagine
meter.
if it's
That's
your
it.
children and you're a grandmother and you can't get out your chair.
Martin is my electrician.
Father comes
I
that
have to
way
make sure, obviously, like you say, because you need to feel safe yourself, but I need to make sure my colleague is in there feeling safe as well. So
Officer?
I'll stand at your front
Officer?
and he will do the electricity.
November Alpha 119.
I'll have to watch what he's doing, but that's the end of it, just me and him, nobody else.
Excuse me, because you're behind, could you just advise them that if it makes him feel more secure, I could follow in as an observer with the camera? No, I'm not asking you, could you just pass that on?
You, so don't worry.
Could you just pass that information on?
I've just told you, you're not going.
Are you not going in the address?
Okay.
Can I just ask you another question then? Are you preventing people to coming in this address?
What leads you to believe?
Sorry?
Why did you find out what the warrant is?
Yeah.
I'm not arguing.
What evidence have you got?
You're not arguing, you're just not doing
I'm
your job.
asking you a question. Why don't you find out what the warrant is?
Like two punishment.
How should it be issued?
I'm not asking questions. I don't care. I'm not speaking to you.
I'm a person of the public asking you a question. You're refusing to answer my question.
Yes, I am. I'm not speaking to you. Just arguing with me.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you a question. What is the proper warrant from the court? What is the proper warrant from the court? I'd just like it on camera, Mark, that when you speak to the police and ask them questions, they
money, right?
and they won't answer your questions. That leads me to believe that they actually don't have to answer.
Have you got your rain jackets?
questions.
They're trying to negotiate.
Have you got any spare?
Just to advise you, they're trying to negotiate an entry with the gas man and the police staying outside. And I've tried to pass a message on saying, would you like an independent videographer to come in to make sure everybody's safe as an archive reference?
Yeah.
But I can't get through. They won't pass the message on to the occupier.
Yeah, well, they're denying the public
one look.
rights, aren't they?
They've done their one look. They're not meant to be able to break through, are they?
They won't answer your questions.
I've got no idea. I mean, I know they're allowed. I know. I've read it, and I know it says
As far as I'm
locks,
concerned,
chains,
I don't think they actually know the
things
law.
like that in their own.
No one's got anyone yet. Pass that message on. We don't want anyone higher
So he's voluntarily opened the door to let the electric company in. Do you want an independent camera?
No.
Can I come in?
Just chill out. Let sort it out. It's all right. Otherwise, you'll cause a kerfuffle.
Pardon?
You'll cause a kerfuffle if you start going
okay,
through there.
okay.
Just, we'll sort it out.
Keep the door open. I will not come in, but you cannot lock someone in.
He's right. They can't lock him in. He needs to open and give him free access.
Right, well, I would like to be there.
Do you want me to accompany you with the camera?
You can walk in and help. Go on.
Okay.
Let her through so she can calm this down. Let her through so she can calm it down.
You know, she needs to go in.
It's a lot with my husband in there, with people that got guns outside and are threatening.
He hasn't gone in. He's
Don't
invited.
you dare go and knock that door without our permission. Get off, mate. I haven't touched you.
Keep your hands down. Keep them by your side.
They're being threatened.
I know. But we don't want to make this worse by getting you
accusing
arrested.
my husband of doing threatening behaviour.
It's all right. Calm down. Okay. You're all right.
How do you look to your children nice? How do you look to your children nice? What do you say? Break into the
Just like my
the police allowed, but
Police are allowed. The person who lives in the house is not allowed to go now.
I'm going to have to go in to do it. Can we tell him that?
Yeah, because you're only going to be here.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Just tell him it's locked because he's still behind it, barricaded. So you're happy with that? You sure?
No.
On some occasion he would replace a lot of money, but he's forcibly barricading it to prevent us entry, lawful entry, so we wouldn't sit here and change his lock. Then he's going to want to offer to, it's up to them. I mean, if this, to be fair, you can imagine how... Yeah, I want to do it. All right, thank you. Cheers. Go leave him.
So they've been told to leave by the sergeant.
It's been dreamy. It's what, sorry? It's been lovely. Oh yes, hasn't it just?
The firearms are leaving. The sergeant told them to leave now. Yeah, the sergeant just told them.
I'll get some more.
I think just let Bill sort it out for a few more minutes. Let's see what he's doing.
Hey, there's that meat they said they didn't have. Look at that thing they said that they didn't have. They didn't have a meter.
What piece you breaching?
You're breaching the peace. You have
That's her home.
What piece you breaching?
You're breaching the peace. You have
That's her home.
Come and watch me go in. I'm not going to cause
your
any trouble.
house.
I walked through my husband. My husband had an heart
Why she
attack.
should wait? Maybe she can collapse.
No, you're not. You're stopping me from going to him.
Maybe she needs medicine. Who knows? What happened?
But you've lied. You've took a meter in there, haven't you? You've lied. So
somebody took a meter in there?
It's something
This
in
is
the
her
back, but you
home.
didn't see what it was.
This is her home and you're denying her access to her home. What was it?
Can I come in with you, Dawn?
Step
Who's
back.
told to come? They won't let me in.
You want to come in with you?
Not only that, it was only
She wants to go in.
inspect the meter, now he's changing it.
You come to inspect me.
You came to inspect it, now he's changing it.
Right, can you just step back?
Would like to come in with you as an
Right, I
independent observer?
appreciate you filming, but can you just step back?
You can't go in. No, he's not going in. You can go in.
So you want to deny people transparency?
Video.
Yeah, they don't
You're
want
denying people
transparency.
transparency.
They don't want transparency.
You've just denied people transparency.
You've got no right to be in that address.
And you're not impartial.
Well, yes, I am.
I've heard your conduct. You're not impartial. Unfortunately, that's not
The
professional.
corporate crown, the corporation.
You did not work for the
And I'm sorry it's come to this, because this is not your job. This is a civil matter.
You're supposed to be protecting the people, not corporations. When you and I were speaking a minute ago, it was agreed that they were only going to inspect that. He's just walked
No, but no, we're checking it to say there's a road meter, so there's been an illegal tamper, which there has. So what the supplier said is, we take that meter off, give you back the meter because it's not ours, we've got ours, but we have to take all our cables away, so there'll be no power left in the property today. And then it'll be whoever you now think it, and that's not just that, I don't know, because you're telling me it's not SSE. Yeah, for safety. Because it isn't safe. Because it's not been inspected or put on by us. I've just been upstairs.
Listen, I appreciate.
Let's ask again. Who's your data controller? I notice you're recording. I've got that on reference now. Who's your data controller? Who's your data controller?
He doesn't have to answer it.
He does.
He doesn't.
You've just let someone.
For transparency.
We're going to just. Do you want to come in? I don't mind if you want to come in.
Enforce a prepaid meter onto that property.
It's not safe. It's not safe because we're not the person who replace that meter with a logo. It does. Under the law, it does. Our meter, we are the supplier of this property. Right, you can disagree and you can go to the Ombudsman, but we are SSE are the supplier. It's been checked. Second, sorry. No, I'm working on behalf of them. Yeah. SSE are the supplier of this property. Right, okay, again, like I said to you, you can go to Ombudsman, you can go to trading standards, you've got those rights, they are your rights.
This warrant of entry appears to have been made by a seeker. So who is seeker? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Seeker provide an end-to-end revenue protection service. So they are subcontractors. Going back to the rights of entry, Gas and Electricity Boards Act 1954, Section 2, Subsection 2, the Justice shall not grant a warrant under this section in respect of the right of entry in question unless he is satisfied. A. That admission to the premises for the purpose specified in the information was sought by a person lawfully requiring entry in the exercise of that right. And B states, admission to the premises for that purpose was sought in a case of emergency and was refused by or on behalf of the occupier.
I broke contract with SSE 12 months ago and asked them to come and collect the meter.
Right.
Right. Now they're here saying they're going to break in and they've got a warrant to come in whether I'm in or not, whether I'm let them in or not. They haven't got a warrant. What they've got is an electronic image of a warrant. You can put Mickey Mouse on an electronic image, don't you say it's Mickey Mouse?
Right.
A warrant is a piece of paper with an embossed stamp and a wet ink signature from a magistrate. Right? He hasn't got one. So he's not coming in.
Right, okay, alright. If he was to turn up with that then, are you going to let him in there?
What's the odds on him turning up with that? Right?
Get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's zilch, isn't it?
You are?
It's zilch. He's not going to get one. You know what I mean?
So yeah, go on then. If they can go get one, he'll let him in.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
There's your deal. Thank you very much for the offer. We'll take it. Can't accept it. Well done. Engage. She's just put the contract together.
So if he turns up,
I was just asking a question.
if he turns up with a warrant, a paper warrant with a proper embossed stamp from a court and a wet ink signature.
Right, so I've just been told they've not done that for about 30 years.
No, that's not
Well,
true.
that's it then. It's not going to happen.
They haven't.
Right.
They've not been doing things quite correct for 30 years. That's why.
You've not been told your job properly.
Why is a copy of the warrant of entry not given to the occupier? This could quite easily be deemed an unlawful entry with an illegal warrant if it cannot be established by the occupant by the way of a signed copy of the alleged warrant of entry. Someone has to have had reasonable cause to believe that circumstances exist which are likely to endanger life or property, and that immediate entry to the premises is necessary to verify the existence of those circumstances, or to ascertain their cause, or to effect a remedy. This makes me wonder why SSE or Seeker did not act with immediate effect for entry, when immediate means immediately, after being informed that the meter has been exchanged. This raises another question in my mind. If safety was the reason, or part of a reason to obtain an alleged warrant of entry, then why did it take over 12 months to attend the property with armed police? Was this really about safety, or just a show of force to hopefully deter other people thinking freely for themselves? Seeker made reference to a rogue meter. The rogue meter was reference to a brand new meter purchased independently of the energy companies, then, as stated, having a professional electricity engineer fit it. What I comprehend from this statement is when an electricity meter is purchased independently and fitted by any qualified electrician, unless it is a person sent by one of the main energy suppliers, Seeker then automatically identify that meter as a rogue meter in their way of thinking. Rogue does not mean unsafe. Rogue is reference to a person, but the reference of rogue in this matter was to the meter, not the person. If a meter is wired in line with the electricity main use and consumer distribution board, and the meter is recording the electricity usage, this is not automatically deemed electricity theft, as some people may prematurely think. Looking at other legislation, namely the Sale of Goods Act 1979, will help define what happens if a contract exists. Section 18, Rule 3. Rules for ascertaining intention. Where there is a contract for the sale of specific goods in a deliverable state, but the seller is bound to weigh, measure, test, or do some other act or thing with reference to the goods for the purpose of ascertaining the price, the property does not pass until the act or thing is done and the buyer has noticed that it has been done. So what does this mean? Well, Wikipedia is the best description to comprehend how a debt is created, but for quick reference, what this particularly means is, if there's a contract in place, there are set tariffs payable, but then payable amounts do not become payable until you've consumed the electricity via the meter recording device, which then, once the meter readings are obtained, they are then used at that date and time to generate an invoice for the consumed electricity. So the electricity has never been paid for by anybody until the meter readings are obtained. For electricity theft to take place, there'd have to be an intention not to pay. So if you bypass a meter recorder to hide the amount of energy used, that's indication that you may well be intending not to pay and could easily be deemed as energy theft. Let's liken it as petrol at a forecourt, making off without payment. I mean, basically this also explains. It determines when the ownership of goods passes. So if the goods are being ascertained as part of the contract, title will pass when the goods are identified or measured.
Now tell me you're doing your job. You're not. You've just shown me a random website. I've not.
Right, for reference now, they've got to replace that lock. Make it sound, make it good. Got to fix what they broke. Some would say that's criminal damage.
It's not even a company anymore.
And can I just ask you, who's your data controller? I'd like a copy of that footage.
I want a copy of yours as well.
Yeah, who's your data controller?
Who's yours?
Myself.
Myself? Snap.
Right, so how do I contact you to get a copy of that?
How do I contact you?
BANAMANnews@gmail.com. How do I contact you?
Same.
You're not clever, you know. So, because you're currently working under GDPR, I've got rights, and under subject access request, I can request a copy now. So, who's your data recorder? I'd like to make a subject access request. How do I make that? Who's your data controller? It's just a reasonable question. Can I ask who you work for? Because when you take photographs of people in public...
I wasn't recording you, mate, I was joking with you. I wasn't even recording, I'm taking photographs. So.
That's fine, it's okay.
There's
So,
no footage at all.
that's fair enough. I just needed to know to request a coffee, but if you're actually confident...
Anything, so it's...
You're just pointing the camera. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, well thanks for that. But if you want a copy of this, banamannews@gmail.com.
Hello.
No, I don't know what you could do counter-claim phone for.
You don't need a counter-claim.
I can't today, I'm other side of the country. So
There's a load of chainsaws who've done some them bastards, aren't they?
Alright, thank you, bye-bye.
Streetlights, that's what we want, because while they're all in number 10, meeting banqueting.
No, I don't know, I've got a Retford job, I'm off on to Retford next. And then into Rotherham, so I've got
and people can't afford to put their electric and gas on. They'll all be going home to their mansions with their electric and gas on, nice and warm, eating a meal. So you know when they come for all these, they'll all be on strike soon, won't they? Because when they can't afford to live, they'll all be on strike then. They'll not give a shit, because you know when they've got them all in debt and they've got cash society.
Right, are you coming in or...?
I'm just going to stay here.
You're staying in?
So just before you leave, how many times while I'm recording have you been filmed doing your job?
Have I been filmed?
Yeah, doing your job.
What, by you or by other people?
No, by other people.
Oh, hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. Be alright with that, yeah? They're a bit bigger-headed screw, so you don't need to put two in.
Slightly bigger,
yeah. There's your old screws there, would you like those?
Yeah, just leave them there.
Sure?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, yeah, thank you. Right, well,
I'd like to say it when I seen you, but it wasn't.
I'd like to say you're corrupt.
When I previously visited this property a couple of weeks ago, the video shows that the meter is wired in series. Series is a technical word meaning wired in line to record the electricity consumption, where the electricity passes through the meter recorder. It was also noted that from the meter recording device, the output then went to the consumer distribution board. It was also noted that from the meter recording device, the output then went to the consumer distribution board. This raises another question. How can any theft of electricity take place when the electricity consumption is recorded via the alleged rogue meter? Many questions to ponder over, while at the same time, instinctively, many more thoughts are coming to my mind based on the following observations in the video. Nobody was arrested for allegations of meter tampering. Nobody was arrested for the installation of an alleged rogue meter. Nobody was arrested for obstructing an alleged warrant that was allegedly claimed to be signed by a justice of the peace or a judge. Nobody was arrested for allegations of stealing electricity. And nobody knows why they sent in armed police officers to deal with this civil matter. What was the purpose of the locksmith when the police broke the door lock and handle? I noticed the locksmith thanking the armed police officer as the armed police officer left what appeared to be his own criminal damage behind. Some people may now be wondering if this was just scare tactics by showing a use of force and presence in order to frighten people, hoping it will deter other like-minded free-thinking individuals from taking inspiration from what they have seen in this video. Upon myself leaving the property, this is what I concluded from the day while driving back to Sheffield. Seeker turned up with armed police officers and a locksmith. The police officer did the job the locksmith was paid to do, while other police officers practiced their attitude training amongst the public observers. The main fuse was removed by Seeker. The electrical tail ends were removed by Seeker. The rogue meter was removed and placed into the hands of the person inside the property by Seeker. Seeker then concluded with a speech advising the people inside the property to sign up with an energy supplier in order to have their electricity reconnected. What does this mean, you may wonder? Well, by signing up with a new energy supplier, this will mean the new energy supplier will make arrangements to come and visit the property and do the following actions. Create a brand new contract with a tariff offered at what appear to be unaffordable prices. Reinstall the electrical meter recorder, reinstall new electrical tail ends, before finally replacing the main fuse to reconnect the electricity supply. One can't help but wonder, there must be more to metering your own electricity than meets the eye. Electricity is deemed a debt once consumed up to a meter reading and date point. Electricity is also deemed a deliverable supply product, which demanded for payment once consumed is often delayed with time to pay. Only once the invoice is generated does the electricity become payable in the eyes of the law. It may be worth noting for clarification purposes, by not metering your energy supply consumption by the way of an electricity meter recorder, this may well be deemed theft. For the definition of theft, it can be found in the Theft Act 1968, Section 1, Subsection 1. A person is guilty of theft if he dishonestly appropriates property belonging to another with the intention of permanently depriving the other of it, and thief and steal shall be construed accordingly. People do bypass their meters for reasons you can probably work out for yourself, but my advice is not to do any of this. None of the information stated in this video by myself is legal advice. It's just my referencing based on what I've seen and observed. If you have a story similar to this and you want to have it documented in a similar way, you know where I am. But remember this, electricity is dangerous, and unless you are a qualified electrician, you should never even attempt to change a plug.